Hello, everyone. This is Written in the Stars, the channel that combines astrology and storytelling. Today, we are going to continue our mini series on the heavenly realms, the dwelling places of the astrological gods. These are, of course, the zodiac signs, the homes of the planets. Before we venture into each realm, let's recap a bit. In the previous video, we learned a few things. First up, we learned that every zodiac sign is the home of a planet because their meanings match. Next up, we learned that the zodiac signs are like astrological cultures that give the rules and customs in which a planet can behave, as in Taurus do as the Taurians. They show how a planet can express itself. Each zodiac sign also belongs to one element which gives it a focus. Fire gives the need for expression of being. Air, the need for mental connection. Water, the need for emotional bonding. And earth, the need for engaging with physical reality. On top of that, each zodiac sign belongs to one modality, which shows how a certain focus is expressed. Cardinal signs initiate, fixed signs sustain, and mutable signs change from one state to another. Now, let's make our journey through the first three signs, the spring signs, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Amidst spewing volcanoes and cleaving lava streams stands the smoldering forge, home of the god of strife, where he fashions the weapons with which he can conquer the snarling beasts in the burning forest. Whoever ventures into this realm must do so without hesitation, whose courage is favored by the bold. In the smoldering forge they receive a weapon chosen by the god of strife, fashioned from the materials he has gathered on his journeys, so that they may prove their strength in the gods' fighting pits. This heavenly realm is the zodiac sign of Aries. Associated with the onset of spring, it is the first sign in the zodiac and thus stands for initiation. It's the spark within us that drives us into action without thinking things through. But Aries knows that a leap of faith may be necessary or one will succumb to fear. Aries teaches us to be courageous and to get moving before our doubts stop us in our tracks and keep us from gaining momentum. Bravery, after all, requires a little bit impulsiveness. As the first sign in the zodiac, Aries favors himself. With the unbridled optimism only a youthful sign such as Aries could have, he moves into adventure. On his journey, he meets many challenges, through which he can prove his strength and find his own place in the world. Aries is determined to get his own way, and thus is blunt and aggressive. But then again, sheer willpower is all it takes to start one's journey. Any planet that traverses through Aries will have to play by the rules of Mars. He lights them up with new optimism and a good dose of willpower so that they can take on their missions with a newfound vigor. It's the planet's spring season, that impulse that makes them come out of hibernation, a threshold from one zodiacal cycle into the next. Not every planet likes to start anew, but Aries is here to teach them that each end is a new beginning, that at the onset of a new cycle it is vital to just take the leap, to move into life without knowing everything that is ahead. That coming up with challenges, but trusting that you can overcome them, is what makes starting things so much fun in the first place. Most of all, Aries tells each planet to go a little rampant, to let the sparks fly inside and steer the planet towards what it wants for itself. But sometimes bold and brave is all that it needs to start, that not all missions need to be thought through. Amidst flower hills and blooming orchards stands the eternal hut, home of the goddess of desire. There she tends to the forever tree, which carries every fruit there has ever been. Whoever ventures into this realm will be enticed to settle, to make a home in the goddess' comfortable abode, where once every desire may be granted. This heavenly realm is the zodiac sign of Taurus, second in line after Aries. It is associated with the high point of spring, when the world is flush and in full bloom. Taurus stabilizes whatever Aries has begun. It's the arduous task of growing and growing that every plant undergoes after it has received the spark of life. Taurus knows that it takes stubborn determination to blossom, or else one will wither. It teaches us to stick with what we started, a staying power Aries lacks, and to work on what one desires that one day it will be rendered permanent. Growth, after all, requires patience. Where Aries received the self-focused impulse to move towards what he wants, Taurus will actualize his personal desires bit by bit, like a bull plowing row after row. That doesn't burst forth, but slowly and serenely makes his way, because it knows that all things worth desiring take time and effort. Taurus is on a journey towards stability, oftentimes in the form of money or other possessions. It is the builder that creates a home for everything he holds dear. Change, a roof sweeping storm, or wall shaking earthquake are its greatest enemy, for they might destroy all the things that please his senses, if he hasn't built strong enough. Any planet that traverses through Taurus has to play by Venus' rules. She will endow them with patience and the determination to do all the work necessary to fulfill their new mission and render their gain permanent. It's the planet's blossoming period, where it can show off all the beautiful things it is growing in real time. It's not a threshold, but a resting place where one can stay for an eternity had one not to move on eventually. Not every planet likes to be stuck, but Taurus teaches the virtue of moving slowly and surely to the goal. To stop by the fields and smell the flowers, to pick cherries from the tree to savor its flavor, because the journey is at least half the goal. Most of all, Taurus asks each planet to figure out what they hold the dearest, and to find a way to make it last forever, so they can delight in it whenever they need comfort and safety. On floating islands, swirling in changeable winds, stand the Courier's towers, home of the messenger god, who with his flock of birds sends letters from one tower and receives them in the other. Whoever ventures into this realm must be quick on wit, for at least one entertaining story is required for entry. one little piece of knowledge that stimulates the messenger god's brain. In return, he will grant multiple of his own, so that his guests may never suffer boredom. This heavenly realm is the zodiac sign of Gemini. Third in line, it is associated with the end of spring, where it brings a breath of fresh air into the stale mind. Gemini will loosen Taurus rigidity so that new possibilities may emerge. It's swift like the wind, blowing once here, once there, carrying whispers, a plethora of stories and knowledge. Gemini knows that it takes variety to engage the mind, or else it will be hollow. It teaches us to be curious about every little detail we hear, the playfulness that Taurus lacks, and to never shun a novel idea because it will lead to the most interesting conversations. Storytelling, after all, requires a little eavesdropping. Where Taurus is focused on giving permanence to his personal desires, Gemini is the first sign to engage with others, to listen to the ones around him and gather information about his environment, like a little reporter eager to catch the next headline. It doesn't move slowly and steady towards the goal, but flitters here and there, ears open to catch the next interesting story or even just a nugget of it, because who cares about the boring parts in between? Gemini is on a journey of discovering his environment, and curiosity, no doubt, will lead him on his way to gather the various stories he finds interesting. There's no need for cohesion, just mental stimulation, things to learn that he hasn't yet known. Gemini isn't picky as long as the story isn't a bore. Any planet that traverses Gemini has to play by Mercury's rules. He will endow them with a curious mind that absorbs information like a sponge. Maybe he'll even give them a few clever tricks on the way with which they can breeze through life. It's a change of direction for the planet. Once settled in Taurus, it is called to move ahead, gain some new information that might help them fulfill their mission. Gemini isn't a stable home. It's the town square, bustling with people, the post office with its myriad letters and parcels, or the library with its sheer endless stories. Not every planet likes the hustle and bustle of these places, the constant chatter and chaffer, and sheer endless unfiltered information flowing through their minds. But Gemini teaches to engage in a multitude of things, for a kernel of wisdom may be found in it. And if not, one still has an endless array of stories to delight in for the sheer fun of it. Most of all, Gemini teaches each planet to play around with ideas, to engage in a conversation they otherwise wouldn't, because what if that frivolous talk can carry them to the last puzzle piece they need? Today we have ventured into the first three heavenly realms, the zodiac signs of Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Let me know in the comments what you think about my presentation of these three signs. If you liked the video, feel free to leave a like. And if you follow me on my journey of explaining the zodiac signs and other astrological topics through storytelling, or want to follow me on building my astrology based fantasy world, please subscribe to the channel. As always, here are some of my other videos for you to watch if you have a little bit more time.